All right guys, back at you with another video. Team Red here. We got the Honda. Just got back from a ride and it is dirty. Very dirty. So I made a video on what I do before I ride. Now I'm gonna make a what I do after. First things first is clean the bike. You should always clean your bike when you're done riding. Look at that. Not only does it help things last longer, it's also good when you go to work on it. You don't want to work on this dirty old thing. I've worked on bikes for people and the bikes were caked in mud and I wouldn't even touch them until they washed them. I'm not about that. It's dirty enough working on them, you don't need all this in the way too. So anyway, that's what we're going to do. Let's get at it. Okay, so the pressure washer I use is a Simmons 3.6 horsepower. It's 2500 psi, I should say that. Guys, get a pressure washer. If you got a bike, just do it. Normal hoses, they don't get the dirt off as good. You gotta sit there and scrub them. If you're getting a bike, I got this on sale for like 300 bucks. You can save up and get one. It's night and day difference. You can use it to wash your cars, your house. You can do side jobs with them, so that's why I got it. I had bikes and I was tired of using the garden hose. It just doesn't get the mud off in places where you can't really reach. So that's why I got it. Highly recommend you do too. Alright guys, look at that. A clean bike is a happy bike. It's just worth it. Seeing it shine. Now you're probably wondering, why was I spraying into that exhaust? Well, it's not a traditional exhaust. It's a White Brothers. It's a Super Trap style, so there's these fins here. And the exhaust actually comes out right around here where it's all black. So yeah, you can't spray into it this way. So I like to keep that clean just because, you know, I can. Normally can't spray into exhaust pipe, but you can on that one, so that's why I did it. Now, another main reason you should always wash your bike, especially on an air-cooled motor, is because of dirt and mud traps in these fins. You can overheat it. This is how most air-cooled engines are cooled. This one's cooled by this and by an oil cooler, actually. Way to go, Honda, for that. But anyway, most air-cooled bikes don't have that oil cooler, so you actually need to make sure these are clean. These are your air fins. This is what keeps the motor cool. I've seen people, man, they've overheated their bikes, blown them up because they didn't keep that clean. They just every weekend would go out, go mudding, get it caked, and that's what would happen. But you know, Honda's Honda. You also have that as the oil cooler. Make sure that is clean. And that's why this bike holds so much oil, because it's in part of the frame. It runs up into that oil cooler. So yeah, anyway, that's it. Wash it real good. I always get under the plastics. I'm picky. You can even lean the bike over, lean it on the ground, but I don't want to spill a bunch of gas over the car, but didn't run it dry, so that's still a little dirty. I'll hit that up again, but that's it guys. Wash your bike, Alright, so I'm going to pull it in the garage and show you what else I do, just to make sure she's in tip-top shape for the next ride. So I just fired it up after the wash. Smoking. Pretty well every time I rev her up, puff of smoke comes out. Well, this thing's gonna need a rebuild eventually. That's I'm gonna do that in the summer. I'm gonna make a full series on that. I wanted to do a big bore kit for this anyway, and honestly, I've never rebuilt a motor yet. I've done pretty well everything else except rebuild a motor. I've done rear ends on four-wheelers. I've rebuilt numerous carburetors. Actually, I never done shocks, so shocks and a motor rebuild. That's going to change for this YouTube channel because, like I said, this is what I want to do. I love doing it. I'm going to learn. I'm going to film it all. Make a fool of myself maybe. And, do a big bore kit, maybe 416, 440. Because, in my honest opinion, this bike is not fast enough. It's got loads of torque, but the high end is just not really there. I already jetted the carb. It's got the exhaust. I took the snorkel out of the airbox. It's got a Uni twin air filter on it, right there. Previous owner put that on. Like, it's completely modded out. I got the biggest jets you can run in it. It works a lot better than stock, but still not there. A 250 race bike would still beat this. I know you Honda guys are gonna be pissed at me for saying that, but it's true. Like, this is a great reliable bike, and that's why I love it, but you can also make them fast and they're still reliable. So that's what I'm gonna do with the big bore kit. Put a cam in it, because I drove an XR 400 years ago and it was a rocket ship. Like, loved it. That's what made me want one. And when I finally got it, I was a little disappointed. I was like, wow, I've had faster bikes than this, but she's still an XR. I'm never getting rid of her. So I'm gonna make it faster. Maybe we'll do some shock mods. I want to mod this thing right out. Don't really have the money right now, so it's going to be a long process. So sorry about that, but I mean, hey, it's for the future. I'm just going to enjoy it as it is. I still love it. It's a great bike, but we'll do it up slowly. Make it the best 400 I can. Make it more suitable for me. And yeah, let's pull it into the shop. All right, guys. Quiz. What's the first thing you should do right after you wash the bike? Some people say you should take it out before you do it, but I don't have a cap, so I left it in, but I left the cover on. Air filter. Always clean your air filter after you're done riding. I guarantee that thing's dirty. You should always wash them and re-oil them. It's just like the oil thing in my first video. You're not necessarily going to blow it up just because it has a dirty air filter, but over time, that dirt getting in there and wearing down the rings, that could be why this thing's rings are worn out. I'm kind of bummed out about that, but whatever. It still runs good. Yeah, air filter. So that's what we're going to do right now. So on these Honda bikes, great design. I love it. All you do, twist that like that. Same with the other side. Comes right out. Most bikes, you need to take the bolts out with a socket. You just lift this off. Oh, easier said than done. What the fuck? What is holding that on? There. It's actually pretty clean, surprisingly. But when I first got it, I cleaned it and oiled it. But she's still a little dirty, so she needs to be cleaned. Alright guys, get you a bucket of hot water, some dish soap. Simple. Put it in. Lightly. Be very gentle with it. Just squeeze it. And tear the foam up. Don't use gas. I've seen people using gas and chemicals. No. Hot water and dish soap is all you need. You don't need this thing to look brand new. You get the dirt out of it. That's all you got to do. Like, it could look like that as long as it's clean. Like, that's just stains. If you're trying to get those out, you're going to end up damaging the foam. You don't need to worry about that. Just clean it. This thing, I keep this very clean, and if you do this every time, it takes 2 seconds, and it's just bam. Like, you make them last so much longer. You grab a toothbrush for this cage. I don't think this has ever been cleaned, so I might as well since I'm in here. That's my philosophy. You might as well do everything you can while you got it apart. A little toothbrush. There. While this dries, we're gonna do some other things on the checklist. Look how dirty this air box is. That's why people get caps to put over that. The intake, boom, you can just spray this right out. Unfortunately, I don't have it, so I'm just gonna have to do it the old-fashioned way with the toothbrush and the soapy water. Let's get at it. Alright, that's a pain in the ass, but I got it. I'm probably gonna get a cat. That sucked. But she's nice and clean, so good to go. Almost forgot. I gotta spray it down. So I use this Rust Check. I love it. I use it on the chain. You can get that air filter oil, but this stuff works just as good. It honestly could be the same stuff. Like, just watch. I've used air filter oil, and it's just like this. Nice and light, and it's red. Just a thin coat. There. I don't know. I love this stuff. I use it for the chain. I use it for undercoating. I use it for my air filters. Like, it's great. Stuff's awesome. Put this back in. Yeah. Make sure she clicked on. Boom. Good to go. You just so it stops. Same thing. Done. Air filter clean. So I just washed it. I know my first video I oiled the chain before, but you should honestly do it right after. My chain was just pretty dirty, so I did it then. But you should do it right after you wash it, because it's gonna rust if you don't. This is how I oil the chain. It's a neat little trick. I take a cloth. I actually might get caught up in the chain when I do this. Anyway, I'll dry off the oil if it does. Get on the bike. See if I can do this first kick. Here we go. Ah, nope. That sucks. Try full choke. Easy peasy, no mess. Look at that. All clean. It actually stayed on. I'm really surprised. That's how you do that, folks. So this is something I forgot to mention in the first video. It eats at me. I might actually edit it in. Tire pressure. That's another huge thing to check. Especially on four-wheelers, but dirt bikes too. It makes a huge difference. Like, I never used to check it. I never used to check my tire pressure. But I'm going to do that now. You need to get a smaller gauge, one that goes down to 5 psi. My brute force calls for 5, so You want to get a small gauge like most normal tire gauges. Just one sec, I'll find one. Okay, so you can use one of these, a digital one. I think they go down to around 5. These work. Okay, so we're going to use, I can't find one. If you're going to use a traditional tire pressure gauge, the one where the piece slides out of the bottom, you need to make sure it goes down to 5 psi. Because like I said, my brute force calls for 5. Most of them start at 10, because you know, they're for vehicles. I'm going to research the tire pressure for this, but I'm going to use this one here. It's a very cheap Mastercraft. I get it at Canadian Tire. It does go down to 5, so this is what I use. Only problem is it doesn't have the traditional end. You have to get this nut adapter to make it work. I don't like, it's so stupid. I don't know why companies do that, but anyway, this one works. It's cheap. This is what I'm going to use. Like I said, you can use a traditional tire pressure gauge, but make sure it goes down to 5 psi. All right, I'll get the numbers and we'll check this out. All right, so I read online, I hear some people running 28 to 30 psi in these tires. That's absolutely crazy. I would never picture that, but that's mainly for road use. But like I said, my brute force calls for 5. Like, I'm really shocked. I've seen a few people say if you're going to be doing mainly dirt riding, 15. So that's what I'm going to put these at. I don't think the front is at 15 because it's she's not eating the bumps very good. I thought the suspension was bad, but tire pressure, that's what I mean. It will trick you. Always check it. I wish I would have put that in my first video, but it's in here now, so here we go. Okay, so actually putting it up to 30 kind of makes sense. I went about 17 with the rear. I think that's pretty good. Still off the ground a bit, but it seems like it's got a little bit of play. I'm in a lot of mud. It's pretty crappy trails around here. Actually, they're great trails, but they get wet a lot. And I went 30 for the front because that seems to keep it up a bit. It looked kind of low, so I'm hoping that helps a lot with the front end. It was bottoming out quite a bit on me, so let's see. But yeah, guys, this is basically it. I always check the oil before I go. It's just what habit, I guess. You could do it now, go for it, but I do it before. It's always, that's your main thing is the oil. You need that. Bike needs it. It's your main thing. So yeah, tires, air filter, clean your bike, man. Just do it. Just wash it. It just goes a long way. I don't know. I did take pride in my stuff, so yeah, that's really all I'm going to do. You could go around, like I said in the first video, check out your bearings and all that. So nice and solid. Actually, I hear some play somewhere. I think it might be the top of the shock. Alright, the top shock bushing might be going, I think, up in there. Yeah, check your bearings, give your wheel a shake. If there's any play, like, nothing's moving there, you'll know, trust me. Yeah, very solid. Tight bike. It's definitely a good buy. I've been very impressed with it, like I said, but starting to smoke, so we're gonna have to rebuild the engine eventually. I want to do a big bore kit. Might as well since we're in there, like I said. We'll do the bottom end crank. I've never rebuilt a motor before, so this is gonna be my first time. But I'm really excited to learn to do it, and you guys are gonna watch me. So that's it for today's video. I might go take it for a quick rip up and down the road, you know, just for the hell of it. I might film it too. But please consider subscribing. Want to hear from you guys, comment down below, hit that like button. It goes a long way. I really appreciate it. It's going to help this channel grow. This is what I want to do. I'll have tons of content coming out, riding videos, more working on bikes. But right now I just can't really afford parts for all of them, so it's going to be a slow process. But we'll get there. We'll get there. So thank you for watching, and goodbye.